All right, I'm live finally. Hey guys, hey rookies, welcome to this edition of the Bourbon Rookie. I want to do a live stream, which is my first. I've been trying to set this up uh, for a few weeks. I usually give up, because I'm one of those people who, at this age, I don't really have a lot of patience. I just figure I can click a button on this stupid computer and make a live stream work. It didn't really work that way. Not that it was like super hard to set up. I mean, I have a Mac. I had to download, you know, certain software to do a live stream, which I didn't know. I'm an idiot. So I wanted to do a live stream because I thought it was going to be quick and easy rather than have to edit video and all that stuff, which is usually fun, but it is Saturday night. And, well, let's just say after about an hour of fucking around, I finally got it kind of figured out. So I've had this kind of, on the back burner. I want to do a tasting of Woodinville, and uh, I started with this guy. This is the port finished, and more like an aperitif. It was a port. It's their 5 year, which is this guy, the 5 year whiskey, 90 proof, just aged for like a year and a half in port barrels, I believe. And I actually liked it. I liked it more as like a dessert whiskey, aperitif, if you want to call it. Use the word aperitif. Um, so I figured, let me see what else they got. And as far as I know, they just had these three others for sale in local stores by me. I mean, I had to kind of go from one store to the next to try to find what I could find. This is the rye. It's 100% rye. No malted rye used in this. Just 100%. This is the straight 90 proof bourbon. 92% corn, 22% rye, 6% malted barley. This is their private select at almost 115 proof. And truth be told, I retired in January, and I was sitting around for about 3 months, which is why I started doing these dopey videos. Dopey mainly because I'm the star of the video, and it was to keep from being bored. So I finally went back to work, and kind of forgot about the hustle and bustle of work. So I came home yesterday and just figured I wanted to have a sip of, something that I got in the cabinet. I wanted to do. So I figured, you know what? Let me try this bourbon here, the private select. Let me try the Woodinville. Let me get into it because I was going to do the review anyway. Truth be told, I got a head start on it, and I opened this guy up last night. So I already kind of cheated with a little bit of an advance on this guy right here, and for the most part this one. So we're really going to get into these two now. These three are 90 proof. They're all 90 proof. And again, this one being at 115. So without any further ado, the only other thing to really say, this is a Washington State product. I don't think they get anything. I think everything's made in Washington. It's not MGP. It's all their own line straight. And there's very limited info on their website. Even the mash bill. A lot of these, for some reason, a lot of these distilleries, they don't give any info about their mash bills on their own websites. You got to kind of look elsewhere for that information. So, but anyway, I'm going to start with the rye, just because I'm going to go left to right. I thought of many different ways to do this, but it's just me. And blinds are cool. But do you really, if I'm going to sit here and do a blind, then I got to sit here and circle every glass around and try to distract myself from, seeing what glass is what. I think blinds are fun to watch, but mainly with other people. For me to do it for you guys, I don't think it'd be too interesting for me to do. Anyway, we're 5 minutes into this. Let's get this thing going. Now, interestingly enough, just nosing this rye for me. It smells like a damp sock. You know, it's a weird flavor profile to the nose, but I don't know. It's almost like a. I'm not saying a sweaty sock. I'm saying it's like just alcohol. There's like a certain dankness to it. Maybe like a little bit of a dank oak. Yeah, I know. It's weird. And again, I don't have a lot of experience, hence the name Bourbon Rookie. I don't have a lot of experience with 100% ryes. So maybe this is just a different profile that I'm not used to. You know, I'm not really getting a lot of the caramels in here. I'm not even picking up a lot of citrus, which I know a lot of people on a lot of other reviewing channels, a lot of other reviewers say that rye is a bit citrusy. You get a little bit of citrus, fruit, a little bit more fruit forward. Maybe a hint of spearmint on this, just maybe because the more I shove my nose into the glass, the more ethanol I got. Anyway, cheers. There's really not much to speak about for me with this nose, guys. Now that's interesting. First, wow. It's very hot, very heat forward coming into the palate. Not the front of the palate, mainly toward the end of the palate. And as you finish, as it finishes and goes down through the throat. Nice little hug already right down here. I will say that it's very barley-esque. It's different than what I'm used to. Second sip, a little bit more grape, a little bit more fruit forward. The nose does not match whatever I'm getting in terms of the flavor. Wow. Now, I will say that I've had these poured, these glasses, which you don't see behind here. See, peek. I've had these poured and sitting for about an hour, so they've opened up a little bit. That third sip on this guy the heat was a little bit more muted. I mean, it's still here, but maybe that's why the heat is muted, because it's already here. It's not front forward on the palate. It goes straight to the back of the palate. Maybe that's my fault. You know, I watched Fred Minnick, and he mentions that there's a chew method to tasting. Because for me, I find a lot of the pleasant tasting to whiskey for me is on the tip of the tongue. So he mentions a chew method where you kind of swish the whiskey to the front of the palate, where you get more of the, for me, where I get more of the taste. And by doing so, I really got like a nice sweet taste on the tip of the tongue, and some mint, slight vanilla, and the grape that I had initially, kind of more of a little bit of a strawberry. This is really, really nice. Now, if you've had New Riff and you've had they have a 95% rye. I forget the name of it, which I reviewed. I'd have to go back and look at it, but this smokes that. This is actually really good. I've never had a 100% rye before. I really don't think I have. I think it's mainly been like an Old Forester rye I've had, which is good, but this is a little bit different in the sense that you're not really getting any of the caramels. Very little. It's more vanilla-y, oaky, but the heat presence is definitely there. But it's good. I like it. Now, comparatively, This is the straight whiskey, 90 proof. The age statement on this is 5 years. And again, I'm not really getting much on the nose. Again, it's very dank. There's like a dankness to this and to that on the nose. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the nose because I'm really not picking up a lot of flavor. Yeah, it's just a lot of dankness, like an old. I guess is what when I watch other reviewers and they talk about like an old bookcase, very reminiscent. That's kind of what this is. It's a little bit dank, but I'm not getting anything like. I'm not getting any of the baking spices. I'm not getting anything fruity. Just dank, and the same with that. Oddly enough. So cheers. Okay, this one I like. This one is very buttery. This one hit me mid tongue to the end of the palate, and I got basically more of like a buttery texture to the alcohol. Very creamy. There's a nice baking spice element to this. I'm getting some light vanilla, more like a creme brulee flavor to this, where you have your vanilla and you have like a custardy, creamy texture and taste. So that creme brulee really comes in that caramel, the vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and a slight oak presence to this. It's not heat forward like that one on the tongue. There's there's a nice hug, very subtle, nice hug though. This one is very good. It's very good. I like this one. 90 proofer too. Yeah, it's all there. Very flavor forward on that one. And again, that one too. The nose surprisingly doesn't do these guys any justice. Usually you want a nose that's going to complement, what you're drinking, or even if it's a cigar, you want like your retrohale. You want your nose to actually complement with reflect what it is that you're smoking. So, um, well, I like that one a lot. I like that one obviously better than that one. I mean, I tended to gravitate more towards bourbons than I do rye. And again, this is just a totally different thing. This is more fruity, light vanilla. This is more baking spice, creme brulee. Um, so it's a lot different. These two are nice surprises. Now I'm going to be honest. Getting to this guy, I cheated. I actually have notes from last night. Now my notes from last night on the nose were medicinal cherries, oak, caramel, creme brulee. It was somewhat reminiscent of the Old Forester 1910 for me, and still a dusty, dank profile to the nose. Sounds crazy, I know, but that's what I had last night. My tasting notes from last night, hot. This thing drank hot. And I probably poured one glass of this and had it over, well, because I fell asleep, to be honest. But I had like a pour like this in the glass. Here's the glass. So I had a nice hearty glass, and it was sitting out for quite a while, and over a 5 hour period because I fell asleep, and I woke up and then finished the glass. Um, well, I fell asleep on the couch because I was beat, but it was just as hot 5 hours later as it was when I first had it. So let's see if this thing opened up just from being open for 24 hours. Let's see. Let's see if the notes. Oh, so it was hot, oak forward, opened up my nasal sinuses. Oh, and I have in parentheses too hot. In other words, too medicinal. I really didn't enjoy this. There's a slight creme brulee, caramel, and a butteriness. But it was too hot, and then I put needs to open up with a question mark. So in other words, it's this. It's definitely this, but amped up to 115 proof. Now I've got a couple of bottles in my cabinet, like the 1910, the Old Forester, which I believe it's 115, which doesn't drink as hot as this. And I've got a couple of other, I forget, but this drinks, in other words, higher proof wise than what it is. This drinks almost like 130 proof, is what I'm trying to say. So to the nose again, it's dank, like these two, like old bookcase, like an old basement, right? But definitely hints of the creme brulee, the vanilla, the caramel. It's muted. It's muted behind the dankness. So at least on this nose, I'm getting more than I did on these two with the nose. Let's see if the palate holds up. Okay. Wow. Now, I don't know if it's because I've already had. Wow, that's hot. There it is. Never mind. Woo! That goes down hot. That is a bear hug and a half. It almost made my eyes water. It was so hot. It has changed from what I remember from last night, though. So when I first opened that bottle, I let that glass sit for a little bit. I probably let it sit for about 10 minutes before I sipped it. And it was hot the minute it touched my tongue. And it's there now. It's there now. I'm not. This thing brings some weird heat, folks. I gotta say, it's not. Last night was unpleasant. Right now, it's manageable. It's not unpleasant. It's definitely this guy amped up. Now, if you like a higher proof and you want to see what I'm talking about, I mean, this guy was expensive. It cost about $70. I believe it was about 70, maybe close to 80, anywhere from 70 to 80 bucks for this guy. Depending upon where you shop in your area, for me, I've seen different price points on. I got this for 54, but I've seen it as low as 39. Not on sale, just from comparative shopping. And these guys anywhere from 35 to 40. These aren't going to break your bank. Flavor wise, this guy right here, in terms of the whiskeys itself, is excellent. This is the guy. To me, I'm drinking this over this any day, and it's a lot cheaper. I mean, I don't want to have something that's going to make my eyes tear every friggin' time. Now, I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit this and we'll put this against the 1910. Not that I want to have any of my competitors give them any ideas, but maybe I'll put this up against the 1910. And I haven't gotten into this guy because this guy is just enjoyable. This is just all port wine forward. This has, to the nose, from what I remember, it's port wine with a hint of whiskey, with a little bit of hint. I didn't get any of the dankness because the port is so strong, But if they're taking this guy and they're putting it into a port wine barrel, you're not losing anything on the nose here. And the port just kind of, it's like a dessert. It's like, from what I remember, there was some chocolate notes to it. It was just very good, but it's sweet. It's sweet. And maybe that's the guy that I need to finish this guy off with. Again, I don't think that for 80 bucks, I'd rather have the Old Forester any day over this, the 1910. If I'm going for something 115 proof, then it's going to be the Old Forester 1910. Now, that third sip was a lot more burly, like a lot more viscous, less hot, and a little bit more like bolder with the carrot with the creme brulee. So I don't get it. Like, somehow or another, the flavors are bouncing around on this guy. And maybe over time it'll soften up. I don't know. I was initially ready to trash this thing and say I hated it last night when I had it, but it has changed enough for me to say I would like to revisit it down the road and see where it goes. I don't know if any of you guys have had this. I know Fred Minnick. I know that they're touting. If you go to the Woodinville website, they have a quote from Fred Minnick on there about how he rated them the best non-Kentucky bourbon, I think of 2016 or something like that. You can look it up for yourself. And what I would say is, after having this guy, I got really excited to try these. And I'm not disappointed that I did. This guy, I still feel the heat. I've been yapping now for about 2 minutes since I had that last sip, and I still feel that presence. So, I'm not an ice guy. It'd be really easy for me to go get an ice cube or a drop of water and see if it does anything to the flavor. Maybe I should. Think I should? Nah, because then I got to go, and no, I'm already boring everybody with this crap. So, yeah. So that's it. That's all I got. That's my Woodinville tasting, kids. Basically all alone by myself. And it's easy because I have nobody to comment with. So again, this is a mystery bottle because now it's the more I sip it, maybe my I'm not saying the more I sip it, it just changes. So I don't know. This one, maybe it's something that we have to revisit down the road and be patient with because it's very heat forward. I mean, that heat is right at the back of my. I mean, it is. There's a lot of heat to it. I'm not getting it as much as I did on the front of the palate. If that makes sense to any of you experienced guys out there. But when I first opened it, it was like boom, fire. But anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. I mean, I would say this about Woodinville and about this lineup. These bottles here are cheap enough. Even this guy, if you get it for less than 50, I paid 54. Oh my God, the heat. Woo. Holy shnikes. That's the only thing I don't like about this one is you're really getting so much of a burn. If any of you have acid reflux, this guy's not going to do you any favors. If you got acid reflux and you still like drinking your bourbon, I mean, I know every once in a while I get acid reflux, and even a mild bourbon is gonna agitate that. This guy, if you got acid reflux, stay away from that guy because this thing just brings the heat from right here to that Adam's apple, all the way down here. Now, for some of you experienced drinkers, educate the rookie. Is that what you call a finish? I thought a finish was more of a flavor thing where like you have enough viscosity, enough oil in the bourbon in the alcohol that you're getting a lasting flavor impression. That's what I thought the finish was. If this burn that I'm like, and I mean heat, if this burn from here down to here, I know this is like the hug. But is that also considered part of the finish? Is that the finish or just part of the finish? Because that's a lot of heat, man. That's a lot of heat. That guy drinks definitely more than 115 proof. I'm telling you right now. Your first glass of that, you're not gonna like it. I didn't like it last night. I'm liking it a little bit more as I go along. This guy here is right in the flavor wheelhouse for bourbons. And I can't, wow, that dankness, that dank sock is right there. You know that sock you forgot about in the washer. You like you thought you got all your laundry, but except for that one little sock that you left in there, and it just stayed in your washing machine for like a day, and then it's got that odor. It's like like that odor. That's really what I'm getting at. This I am not getting anything. And guys, how long have I been rambling on? This video is already 26 minutes long. Whew. That nose is not doing this guy any favors whatsoever. Same here. That's wet sock. This is dank basement. And I really have to get my nose in there to get any type of a creme brulee. Crazy. Bourbons, whiskeys, crazy, weird things. Now, I don't know if that's because these things, like if you read their labels, they're Washington based, they're aged in Washington. You know, they have a different climate there. You know, I don't know if they're says here, prior to being coopered, the barrel wood is seasoned in open air, rain, wind, sun, and snow for 18 months, softening the wood's harsh tannins. You know, so when I read that, you know, and I get those smells, I get those noses off these two, or even, I mean, the nose on this guy is at least complementary to what you're getting on the palate. But when I read that description, that explains everything. That explains why I'm getting the noses off these guys, you know, with the dank sock and the dank basement, because of that description. Does that make sense to you? Is that what you would think? Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like those barrels, they gave a distinct flavor profile, you know, and the nose just doesn't complement it. Now, I'm not saying you got to hold your nose. Well, you know, sometimes you hold your nose, things taste even better. You don't have to do that, but you know, it's definitely, it's definitely not complimentary to what you're getting on your palate. But at any rate, guys, I digress. I'm rambling on now. I'm rambling on for no reason because I know I'm live. I have no watchers in anyway. Nobody's even texting me. Hi, guys. Hi. Look. Hi. Say something. Hello. All right. Anyway, guys, listen. I don't know if I can edit this video down, but I appreciate my 9 subscribers. I'm looking to get up to even more. So if you can give me a like, you can give me a subscribe. Maybe check me out on Patreon. I do have some wearables. I have pictures on my page. So take a look. And if you like any of them, shoot over to Patreon or DM me. If you're a member on Patreon, I'll give you, listen, on Patreon, I have a $1 tier and I have a $5 tier. You're going to get a 10% discount on my glass, my Glencairn, which is my logo, and you're going to get 10% on the shirt. If you're a $5 subscriber, you're going to get 20%. So hit me up if you were bored out of your freaking mind or you thought anything I did was hilarious. Share the joke, DM, text, subscribe, like. Take care of yourselves. Stay frosty. We'll see you soon. If I could have done anything better, let me know. But I'll tell you distinctly, not bad. Very good. Revisit down the road. This guy we have to be patient with. And this, guys, this is just dessert in a glass. And honestly, have you had anything that's finished? Whether it's the Penelope sherry cask finished, or the New Riff sherry cask finished, or anything that's been finished in a toasted barrel or a finished barrel. Have any of those products really sucked? No, not really. But this is just not getting anything on this nose either. And I'm not drunk. Old bookshelf, old bookcase, a little bit of a dark chocolate note. But on the palate, wow. That's just dessert all day. I mean, this is just in a class by itself outside of all these. This just cranked up with more flavor. You know, you got a dark chocolate note. You got all the creaminess. You got all the flavor of that just with a dark chocolate, a little bit of a port. You definitely get the wine presence, but there's chocolate. It's really good. It's good. If you see that guy, definitely get that one. And if you're a lover of rye, definitely get that one. But if you're somebody like me who is not used to rye, be patient with that and get that. So there you go, guys. I'm going to end this video because I'm rambling on and I probably don't make any sense to any of you experienced people out there. I appreciate any of you that decide to watch this. And we'll see you next time, guys. I have a lot of ideas. I have a couple of things coming. So just stay tuned. All right? All right. Later.